Good afternoon. My name is David Gillette, the literary director of the Poets Theater, and I bring with me today the greetings of our dear artistic director, Bob Scanlon, who was prevented from joining us today for medical reasons. And I want to express our deep thanks to the leadership of the Woodbury Poetry Room, Christina Davis and Mary W. Graham, who've made our appearance today possible. Thank you so much. As an 18-year-old aspiring poet who had come up from North Carolina to go to college here, I recall vividly discovering the Woodbury Poetry Room where I could put on earphones, close my eyes, and travel into a world of spoken poetry beyond my wildest dreams. A decade before my arrival, a group of other aspiring poets had gathered in Cambridge and decided to join forces with the lively theater community here to see if there was any common ground between poetry and theater. The mostly unknown or little-known poets included people whose names you may recognize: John Ashbery, Frank O'Hara, Richard Wilbur, and a budding novelist named Alison Lurie. And among the theater people, the charismatic Irish actress and playwright Mary Manning Howe, our beloved Molly, who was our leader right up until the end of the 20th century. As both actor and poet, I was stunned a couple of years ago to hear reading by a young physician from Washington State, John Okrent, read with great feeling from his cycle of sonnets called This Costly Season, based on his experience as a doctor during the first phase of the COVID epidemic in a family clinic out in Tacoma, March through September of 2020. This week is the 5th anniversary of the beginning of that dreadful and still dreadful virus. The poetry, John's poetry, was fabulous, but I also thought, as a literary director, what a spectacular script this would make for a dramatic theater piece spoken by skilled actors. The title of John's book, This Costly Season, is based on a poem by the much neglected but wonderful poet W.D. Snodgrass called April Inventory. Vincent, if you will.
Though trees turn bare and girls turn wives, we shall afford our costly seasons. There is a gentleness survives that will outspeak and has its reasons. There is a loveliness exists. Preserve us, not for specialists.
This is theater, so we've had to condense, and excerpt certain passages from John's book. And we have decided to present the story with 3 voices to suggest that many medical professionals must have had COVID experiences similar to those of Dr. Okrent. But our mission as a Poets Theater is to build bridges between theater and poetry. So we urge you to get a copy of the book, This Costly Season. And you're in luck today because in the back of the room is our dear friend Laura Stekowitz from Aerosmith Press. Aerosmith Press, a wonderful press based in Medford, Massachusetts. And you can purchase a copy of the book right in the back of the room. Also, if you'd like to support the work of this oddball theater company, the Poets Theater, I've left some envelopes lying around for you to put in your hard-earned cash or perhaps a check, all of which is tax-deductible 100%. Could you please mute your phones if you've got one? Or anything else that might make a noise aside your voices when you scream with delight. We hope to have a little discussion after the show. And now the Poets Theater presents This Costly Season by John Okrent, MD, featuring actors Vincent Siders, Benjamin Evett, and Natalia Baldiga.
March 17, 2020. Driving to clinic. On the radio, a pulmonologist in Italy tells of choosing among the dying which ones not to save. I picture Whitman wending his way through wounded Union soldiers, his democratic nostrils, the smell of dead or dying flesh. And in all the dooryards, the smell of lilacs. It was gorgeous today and marked the 52nd death in the Evergreen State. Everyone's eyes seemed wider above their face masks. Fear lends an urgent sort of beauty to the days. When he got back to clinic this evening, Frankie said it was crazy in the gun shop. Everyone grabbing all the ammo, all the guns. Business has never been better, said the man behind the counter, whom I picture wearing latex gloves, the color of lilacs, only darker.
The color of lilacs, only darker. The clouds that cover the top of Mount Rainier this evening like a shroud. Another beautiful day. Disturbing to see so many people walking the waterfront. The fish market is closed, the cafe is closed, the bar is closed. The daffodils are heedless today. The first death in Tacoma, a woman in her 50s. Droplets cover me, probably. My neighbor veers. Conversation grows heavier by the word. In clinic, I donned a plastic face shield and gown of goldenrod when seeing a person under investigation. The nights grow quieter. We no longer hear passenger trains, only freight trains, and fewer from our cabin.
From our cabin, we keep the world. Home from clinic, I throw my clothes straight in the wash and get in the shower before I touch my wife and daughter, which means Chela has to hide her so Ula doesn't see me when I come in. What I bring home with me, mortality and an empty thermos. 160 new positives in King County. Numbers double by the day and will, and from the dresser, last week's tulips bow their purple, ludicrous heads. This may be the end of irony. The sky again so blue it could break from blueness. Sterilized, I hug my girls. In our cabin, we keep the world.
We keep the world. The world keeps us. The way the oceans keep the continents. Nowhere to go now, but down and in. Friends and family, faces on my phone, pixelated flesh tones. Are they choking up? The familiar cups of their eyes overflowing? Or is it just a bad connection? I miss connection, the compassion of hands, the heat of faces, the sharp curve of new cases like a sudden middle finger from a fist. What if we can't withstand this? Our dog, thank God, tangential as a dream. I can't wait for a time when I say this and you don't know what I mean.
March 22nd, 2020. It was fog on fern moss this morning when I took my daughter for a walk in the woods. From the palm of my hand, she picked bits of granola. Coronavirus has killed its thousands now, and now it's tens of thousands. 2 teenage boys jogged by us on the path. The smell of their deodorant reminded me of a time when the world was exuberant. Or buoyant, at least. It's sinking in, this sinking thing. We didn't see another soul all day. The air felt prehistoric on my naked face. I shaved my beard so that the mask might fit.
The mask might fit, but its breath is wanting. I tell my patient he's breathing fine, he has no fever, and there aren't enough tests, enough masks, enough us. I can't test him for the virus. He coughs. His red socks and black sneakers, the most articulate image of my day as he storms from the clinic, rank particulates scattering and settling on everything. I never saw his mouth. Just his beard below his mask, just cascading down his chest. It was beautiful. Even more beautiful than the rainbow that I saw later driving home. Crowds gathered along the water to watch, and somewhere, cornered in their mind, each of the other, thinking beneath their breath, if you die, it is not my death.
If you die, it is not my death. Our fundamental difference, our distance. We're discontinuous, or so thought a French philosopher who was there in 1918 when the Spanish flu killed hundreds of thousands of French people. The Spanish flu from Kansas, USA. Pink plastic bags on top of coffins, the belongings of the dead who were alive today. Alone. Alone and everything, even funerals, postponed. And now my visits are on the phone. In the background, rain and the racket of TV and dishes. And behind my patient's voice, a smaller one, the president's, insidious, saying he wants the country open for business by Easter. A ship of empty gurneys waits at the pier. We must learn to feel the pain of things that are not yet here. Business for Easter. If you die, I die too.
If you die, I die too. I am here for you on my lunch break, where the magnolia is encumbered by the indulgence of spring, rude, decadent white blossoms. The Department of Health's website is down today, so the dead remain unnumbered. There's a woman who sleeps in the alley behind the library near here. I saw her earlier, in a bad way, beneath the magnolia tree, and couldn't help her. A directive to the non-essential: shut down, stay home. But home is luck. And what's essential? The liquor store, the gas station, the commercial geoduck operation. There's a lot that's not, a lot that trembles like the dandelion I handed Ula in the last of the sun, wishing fields of yellow flowers. A world like this one. A world like this one. Even this one will be fine, as in finished, perfected. But I'm fragmented and so tired of the dead. Over 1,000 over the weekend in just New York. And there's talk of temporary burials in public parks.
April 7th, 2020. The globe is not a perfect sphere. It is lumpy with the buried. I was startled by the moon tonight, closer than it will come all year. A pink moon, we call it. Not because it is, but for the phlox blooming in the meadows and on the rocks this time of year. When the days are done, from their isolation, people come to cheer essential workers, meaning everyone, all of us, alone, together, living, blooming even, on this molten rock where for 1 billion years, nothing did.
Nothing did. And then something did. And now it seems there is nothing that is not flowering. The laurel along the road, the wild blueberries, the hushed bells of the bearberry bush, the cherry trees and their tantrums of white blossoms as the dead are wheeled beneath them, covered in white sheets. Easter morning, a plastic egg on the front porch for Ula. I toss the candy when she turns away and fill it with pebbles. It's the rattle that pleases her anyway. The way she says Easter, it sounds like Eton. The madrones look like dancers' arms reaching from the earth. This is my body, broken for you, said Jesus. I love you. I miss you. This will end, I said to my friend, and almost meant it.
I almost meant it. But meaning is refracted. Sunlight through a pill bottle on the sill. Yellow pollen on my windshield, like confetti from a sorority party at a college whose mascot's a canary. When I pull into the parking lot, 2 kids on pogo sticks, laughing, like gravity is a joke.
Much of the world in pajamas, warehouse full of superfluous pants. My dog sniffs a feather in the grass, and maybe it fires some forgotten synapse, a flash of flight, most likely. His teeth gleam, remembering the taste of foul. The sky smells of ozone that resists the imagination. Ozone, from the ancient Greek odzin, to smell. Sky, blue sky. You are entering the medical record of a patient who has died. Red letters alert me from the screen. The red of the rhododendron this spring. Like a warning passed down the centuries urgently.
Over the centuries, urgently, we learned to stand up and walk. But tonight I want to fall down and stay there. Something like prayer. I don't believe in progress. The days keep falling like bricks from rushed construction. All night it rained, and this morning the water was the opaque color of a newborn's eyes. Sheet metal clouds make it easy to stay inside. Maybe fewer will die. A Spanaway man in his 40s. We're going to open it up in beautiful little pieces, says the president. And I picture the carcass of a rhinoceros. But he means the country.
We shall afford our costly seasons, said Snodgrass. But this one, like a stain, desperation sinks into things.
April 23rd, 2020. The grocery bag, the steering wheel, the little hand in my hand, midnight bowl of cereal. Before leaving for clinic, I toss my daughter high and higher in the faultless air, like any father. Later, with soap and water, I'll wash the formless fruits of my labor. The mist hangs low around the whole horizon, like the lid of an eye that's closing. But it's only morning. It's only morning, but I am ready for bed, for dinner, a drink, the dark, horizon pearled with lit rooms. I admit it. I've grown used to being alive. And I'm tired already of this poem, of the I in it. In the parking lot in her yellow gown, Anna reaches a swab through the window of a car and up the driver's nose until he gags. Beyond this, brown birds on municipal wires, chartreuse of spring on the trees, trash bags in the alleys. American flags sagging from the eaves. It's a summer flag, if ever there was one. Which reminds me, summer will come, despite us. I bow my head to the gun of the infrared thermometer, then enter the clinic.
May 5th, 2020. It is beautiful to be glad to see a person every time you see them, as I was to see Juan, the maintenance man, with whom it was always the same brotherly greeting, each of us thumping a fist over his heart and grinning as though we shared a joke or bread. I barely knew him. Evenings in clinic, me finishing my work, him beginning his fluorescence, softening in the early dark. He wasn't even 50. Had 4 grandchildren. Fixed what was broken, cleaned for us, caught the virus, and died on his couch last weekend. And what right have I to write this poem? Who will not see him in his uniform of ashes, only remember him in his Seahawk cap and far from sick, locking up after me, turning up his music. So long, Juan. We will perform the daily miracles of moving on without semblance of touch in this unseasonable warmth. Mingle our particular molecules, enter one another even. Rain falling into dark.
Ula's grandfather has been writing songs. When he plays them for her on the phone, her reaching is so fervent, it tips her over, as though his voice alone could catch her. I refuse to get used to these disembodied ways. I want to wrap my arms around the days, to kiss their drooping shoulders.
To inherit the earth is to inherit loss. 40 years ago today, and 70 miles south, Mount St. Helens blew, killing birds and deer and bear by the thousand, and at least 57 people, one of whom ran from the blast a few miles before he fell, drowned in the air turned ash.
May 24th, 2020. The ash turned earth, the earth turned grass, and the musk ox grazed it while we watched from the perimeter of the zoo, closed since March. Memorial Day weekend, and everyone out is in a mask. Their eyes, like tired swimmers, come up for air with gasps. Ula reaches for my mask and babbles, Max, Max ox, muck ox, Max off. U.S. deaths near 100,000, an incalculable loss. I can only read 10 of their names before reaching for abstraction. The musk ox hangs its impossible head. Even the duck tucks its bill under wing and sleeps. But look up. A small bird breach the everywhere surface of the air, sing and want nothing. Sing and want nothing, I say to myself as I walk in the woods with my daughter. The world is older than ever now, and Ula wants to touch each tree, so we move slowly through the centuries of trunks, her small voice demanding more touch, more touch.
More touch, more treasure, more muscular mothers pleasured at peace, more tender our fathers, more police without weapons but flowers in their teeth, more flaccid the power that be, more placid the hours.
More love-tangled sheets, more sun on the floor, more lingering over the underwear drawer, more offerings burned, more fire unfurled, more unclutching of pearls, more strangers, more strangeness, more worlds in the world, more gentle.
More genital, more wrestling with angels, more asphyxia's opposite, more rest on the mountains, more view from the top of it, more praying to God, test me, more saying at daybreak, I will not let you go unless you bless me.
More breaking, more open, more battered my heart, more friction, more spark, more seeing in the dark. It will get darker. More dark.
June 5th, 2020. More dark, my comfort. Leafy green, I know nothing. The moon is full tonight, but I can't see it. Night clouds redouble the dark, and the lights on the bridge are lethargic. Our dog is on steroids. It's very American. We let him out to piss on the hour. He breathes in his sleep as if purging. Tomorrow there's a march across the bridge with Black Lives Matter and Mothers Against Police Brutality. Chest pain with activity as well as at rest, says pretty much every one of my patients. I have no idea what all of this is doing to love. Today I watched a video from a city we used to call home. A skinny old man, tall as a stop sign, pushed down by cops in riot gear. The back of his head broke his fall, and he lay there as blood leaked from his ear like a secret.
June 10th, 2020. America, you had one job: feed everyone. Now even your trees are hungry. Your children wait with singing stomachs for the bus that brings bologna on white bread, juice boxes, sad grapes, and apple slices browning with sweetness. The country is creeping back open like a door in a horror movie. We've seen this before.
The sky is an empty stadium above all the empty stadiums. I can hear in my head the roar of the crowd like the sound of the sea in a shell. People are leaving forever without farewells. How long will I keep mistaking grief for grace, sympathy for love? I want the precision of thirst, but it hurts to be so thirsty. I track the worry lines on the faces of my friends to pools of silence. I can almost drink them.
That we drink from the same cup or share the air could kill us, or some more fragile someone we might love. Tonight, I fix my gaze on the dark water out my window, barge going by, its bow light, the sort of green that gives permission. Will I miss this when I'm gone?
July 4th, 2020. When I'm gone, no more going on, without news of love or less. New deaths like cherries filling up the trees, dark baubles. Happy birthday, America. You are so beautiful and doomed. Never to surface. That's how it is with the lively dead. We watch them drown in days that won't stop rising. Today we euthanized our dog. And by today, I don't mean this one, but another, now distant enough that I can write it. He is dead. The night before, I masked in butter the pain pill he would not take. And still he wouldn't. I had to force it in, and it went with him. Now I remember how he used to sit and watch me for my better self, or stop me along the path to track some scent I couldn't on the air. I followed my dog into wordlessness, and he left me there.
August 3rd, 2020. Today, I saw a woman picking blackberries along the freeway. A small boy, maybe her son, stood guard, staring down the passing cars. These days, I see desperation in the smallest things, the limp and dim quotidian, and grief dripping down the chins of everyone like the juice of the blackberry, so ubiquitous here, this time of year. A person could get sick of them.
A person could get sick of them, the days. It will take all of mine to learn to pray. And then what? My parents risked the rest of theirs to join us here. It is August. I'm tired of being brave. I want to cling to the ones I love. From the cages of our ribs, from the gates of our seeing, we look out on all that is leaving or has already left us. And we love each other knowing this. Love is not innocuous.
August 16, 2020. Like laundry in the sun, our hanging hearts might dry out, stiffen, fade before all of this is done. Chalk circles, 6 feet apart, confine one person each. Orientation week, and the grass has never been so green.
In the office park tonight, deer nibble topiary, and down the street in darkened yards, campaign signs crouch like little children sent outdoors to study stars. Jupiter is so low and bright tonight. Its reflection floats in my dark wine, which I drink recklessly, inviting stains.
Inviting stain, inviting anything that might withstand this rough erasure. I rush to work. Graffiti on the utility box. Are you just gonna sit there and watch me die? In purple magic marker. I go inside. No cure for people dying forever. I'm sorry for your loss, I keep saying. I'm so sorry for your loss, I keep hearing myself say.
August 16, 2020. When the whiteout sky turned open road blue, we drove north along the Hood Canal to eat oysters, ostensibly. Really, to trade one kind of sorrow for another, saltier one. I watched my daughter, not 2 years old, slurp and smile, changed again by her delight. Her delight defines a border softer than the worn-out edge of the world, and more porous. Citrus-colored sunset. We tear old bread to pieces and toss the pieces to the gulls. Moments like this, when the galaxy grows less callous, I know we contain within us what overcomes us, that by which we are swept away. Ula doesn't know this, doesn't need to know, to taste and see that all is always coming to be. Unlike me, she plays above the grim percussion of the morning news. Mutations in the virus, another chasm in our nation's trust, a surplus of crumbs. The naming of the hurricanes before they even come.
Each new hurricane that comes far from here, where the whale-deep waters swing too far north and cold to bear such storms. Instead, small rain will fall for 4 months straight, and from the narrows, the insulated seals will watch like dogs as we feed ourselves upon the shore. One seal in particular. We have seen here, evening after evening, he strikes his tail against the still surface of the water, brassy with the setting sun. He rings it like a higher drum as dark comes down, and later he'll wake us splashing in the shadows, the sound of thrashing as he feeds, will make it hard for us to fall asleep.
September 7th, 2020. Another summer has singed the grass, and we are waiting for the ferry from the wrong side of Labor Day, and our new kite snagged high in the branches, and my hand-me-down heart sagging after too much wine. Yet my wife seems to be growing wings, or becoming at least intimate with flight. Like the fall-flowering crocuses in the orchard near the harbor, she inhabits the secret of this season. I watch her gather twigs and stems and braid them for our daughter. She gleans a crown from fallen things. And suddenly, I remember a desire deeper than this dark water and bearing light like it. The same desire flowing here where we abandon the kite and grow old together.
In the satellite image, the plume of smoke looks like a polluted sea, misplaced on top of the city, some glitch in the digital map. And here, within and under it, the sky is the absence of sky. Looking at it burns the eyes. The wildfires have turned metaphor into fatal fact. Our world is burning. Subtract the sun. Paint high noon a milquetoast dusk. You get the picture. Now picture fire reflecting in the eyes of the livestock left behind in the evacuated town. Now picture it burned to the ground.
This morning I found my car laminated with ash-like contour lines on an antique map. All the air purifiers are on back order. The smoke, a bloated river running from sea to sea. They were trying to tell us something, the trees, before their whispers became the gasp of burning things. Last time I saw the sky, it was beautiful. The way a dumpster fire might be before what you're seeing has sunk in. We're sinking in. Like pumpkins hollowed and aflame. It's not Halloween, but it looks the same. We're in it together, and by in, I mean under. Make America over again. Teach it how to pray. And by pray, I mean listen. There is always less to say.
There is always less to say. Like carrying water or a flame, I carry my silence, and you carry yours. After the fires, finally, tonight, the rain. And because it wasn't the taste of apples and honey on our tongues, but another name for the dead, we followed, full of ruth, bitter fruit, into the downpour we'd prayed for, and stood there until we were too drenched to distinguish between bodies of water and bodies of air, ourselves and our absent ones, gone and everywhere.
September 28th, 2020. Suddenly, Chela wanted to make an altar. Too early for Day of the Dead. So we did, in the pouring down rain, strewing flowers and faces brightly framed, until who's to say if we were mourning or reveling? Mourning or reveling, everything all at once, the walloping storm and the calm that comes after it. I'll take all of it. Life, to be specific, until I die. Some geese fly south across the blank page sky, prophetic hieroglyphs. This ends well, is what it means. I'm guessing. A roadside puddle lets Ula dance on well-spent clouds. The neighborhood deer harvest deep russet, windfalls from the ground. Nothing is wasted. Love least of all. Past the tide flats, gulls feast from mountains of trash. Driving to clinic, day breaks its glass of light on the harbor, and I take it like a chance, like a cure. The end.
We'll take it off you.
Yes. Thank you so much. One more.
We're done.
Thoughts?
I'm going to leave, but I wanted to thank you. You inspired me to come out. I had my knee replaced 2 weeks ago, and I've barely been out of bed, so it was fabulous. Thank you.
Anyone else have a thought to share? There's Fred. Okay.
So I had the pleasure of reading some of these poems when they first came out, and it's so much more powerful to hear you speak them. Yeah, thank you.
I just want to thank you all for this performance that embodied what we've so quickly forgotten, and that is the amazing cost for the mental health and hospital and medical workers in general, let alone those who suffered the illness. Yeah. That maintenance man moment is so profound. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for helping me purge some PTSD. I'm a physician. I work at Cambridge Hospital. And when they closed the state, I walked into Harvard Square, and it was deserted. And then my beeper went off, and there was a patient in the ICU who had a GI bleed, who had COVID, and they needed me to come in and do him. And we didn't have a lot of PPI, and I had to use a trash bag.
Wow.
And it went downhill from there.
Yeah.
I had more patients die than are in this room. So, thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Well, I hope it does provide some. Yeah.
And I'll say that my husband died of COVID April 17, 2020.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I love the way that Vincent kept pausing before 2020, because we sure felt that 2020 was never going to end.
Yeah.
I like the idea of paying tribute to our medical professionals and what they went through in that period. And on and off for the last 5 years even. So
Yeah.
hats off to the doctors and nurses. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Since Fred Marchant mentioned forgetfulness, I know that a lot of people would really like to forget most of what went on, particularly in 2020, but even since then. But I just want to say to everybody here that there are people who need to be remembered who died. And there are commemorations about to happen because it's been 5 years. And I work with a group called Dignity Alliance Massachusetts, which tries to improve healthcare and the well-being and the safety of people who live in nursing homes, and help the people who don't want to live in nursing homes and would prefer to live in the community, and their caregivers. And we are going to have a celebration of life and a commemoration on May 13th. And I hope you'll hear a lot more about it. But we certainly want people, you will hear more about it. We certainly want people who knew the dead, who knew some beloved person who died in a nursing home or not, to give their names so their names can be remembered in this commemoration on May 13th. So I just think that we mustn't forget.
The doc.
sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yes, there we go.
Hello, David. Hi, my name is Lisa Wong, and I saw the performance at Harvard Medical School, and it landed very differently than it's landing today. I had a chance to reflect on how beautiful the words are that were written. And during that time, we had, here in Boston, had opened a hospital at the convention center, the Boston Hope Hospital, from exactly April to June. So when I was listening to you with the dates, one of the things that my colleague here, Kathy May Tran, and I were doing was to create music opportunities for the patients who were there. They had nothing but respiratory therapy and physical therapy and isolation. And we gathered the music community virtually to upload musical doses, which we made into playlists, and they could access them through their iPads. So I was reflecting on how the beautiful poems that this doctor was using to sort of help himself find balance was what we as a community were doing when we were creating this music, thinking of how to distribute it, thinking about and sharing with the musicians, the music students, the conservatory students who also felt isolated, to sit and think about what kind of music they would want to hear if they themselves are in the hospitals, and present that. And so all of those started to resonate with me when I could hear this again. So thank you.
You know, just as Poets Theater tries in its modest way to make a wedding between theater and poetry, these are two camps that are not always trustful of one another. The medical community, the medical educational community is now discovering, and there are now units being set up to fuse medical education with the arts and the humanities. And Lisa is part of that. Medical humanities is one of the new words, which is long overdue, I think, because in a way, medicine is an art. And I won't say poetry is a science, but it's long time. It's a high time that we in the poetry community opened our arms and embraced our doctors as being among us. And there are a lot of doctors who are poets, more than you'd think. Other thoughts? Yes.
This was amazing. Thank you so much. And your readings were very moving. I'm wondering how you relate to this, to these texts as you read them out loud. Does that change what happens as you read them compared to, say, the first time you read them?
Well, I mean, it is different. you were mentioning how it was a different experience when we did it on Monday at the medical school, and that's the same is very much true for us. Every time, that's one of the beauties of live performance, is that it's always different because of the space and the energy that you bring, and wherever we are, and all these different aspects. And our goal is to try to put the words out there, but also to be present in the words and to let them speak to us as much as they're speaking to you, and to sort of, I often say this about Shakespeare, that the way that you perform it in some ways is that you're always following it, you're following the language, and you're, and that teaches you, and that moves you, and that is the language is the engine that drives your emotion as an actor. And the same is true with, beautiful language like this. It evokes, it surprises, even when you've read it, and suddenly, you see a connection that you hadn't seen before, or two words that just ring off of each other, and it's, so it's a very immediate and present experience, which is wonderful also, just to add, that it's one of the, and also, the memories that it evokes of that time, which was really such a transformational period for all of us, that in some ways we've forgotten about how, forgotten how impactful and how different it was to exist in those days. And this just, for me, it takes me back to those moments of looking and seeing the world in a way that I had not seen it before.
And I think for me, part of the joy is really having the trio and being able to hand the words off and then pick them back up and echo and hear each other and hear new lines that you're like, oh, that one this time really sang for me, although it's always the seal. I always love that seal so much.
The seal is pretty great.
But it's even more joyous making it into this choral experience and following the words together, I think.
Yeah. As they would say, right now you see 3 actors on stage, but there are actually 4 actors in the room. We've got the 3 of us, and we got all of y'all. So you guys are the 4th actors, because you guys really do influence what it is that we do up here. Not only read it with good poetry, good work, right? It's like you find new stuff each time you read it. And once again, the word being present, you're reacting from that new discovery of what you've read. But not only that, the choral thing is that it's not only your words, but it's like my partner's words too. All of a sudden, I'm hearing their words differently, and that puts me in a certain place, which then affects how I come into my next, right? So it's all very, very, very live, very immediate experience. And yeah, I think the brilliance of this piece is that it does bring you back into that time. Sometimes it's just so hard for me to explain it, because there's so many thoughts and so many emotions that were going on, so many ways of trying to cope with this unprecedented event that's happening. And it's like you can't turn to anybody. What should I do? Because they don't know either, right? So all of that, this piece, in so many ways, is very cathartic for me. Helping me understand what was happening at that time, and at the same time, reminding me not to forget the lessons that were learned.
I think something that always jumps out for me with this piece is this tension between this incredible focus where you are seeing things so clearly, so sharply in a way that you haven't before, but it's also paired with this dissociation that's happening. And so sometimes you're seeing from a distance and you're sort of hearing yourself or seeing yourself see, and at other times you're just in the immediacy
That's
of the
a great
moment.
point. Yeah.
And there's that
That's cool.
incredible tension.
That's cool. Yeah.
Good question.
I think perhaps we could end by turning toward the camera here and thanking Dr. John Okrent for delivering this great poetry to us.
Thank you, John Okrent.
Thank you, John.